Well, how are you? Welcome. It's the World Mission Update. My name is Rusty Humphries. I'm just here. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. He's the star of the show. His name is Greg Kelley, and he's the CEO of World Mission. And boy, do we appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button, please, and the notification button so you know when the next World Mission Update is happening. They're happening about every week, every 2 weeks, depends on what we're doing. Whether we're in the studio or traveling around the world, bringing you the information about the souls and the people and the message that World Mission is bringing to people around the world. Greg, we are planning our next big adventure, going to a place that I've been a number of times, but it makes me nervous going back.
Oh, yeah. We are going to Cairo. We are going to go to Cairo, Rusty. And also, I thought since we're going to Cairo, we may as well scoot over into Beirut as well. So
yeah, just scoot over to Beirut. Just scooch over there. Now, Beirut, that used to be the Paris of the Middle East, right? I mean, that was that was a really nice place years ago.
I've got to admit, the first time I went to Beirut, I did very little research. Of course, you hear about the Marine barracks bombings. Right. Was that when was that? Like in 1980?
It was under Reagan. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you heard about that, but I went into that trip just kind of, I just sort of, I goes like that. Okay, Lord, just open up the door. I'm going there. And when I got there, I was blown away at the beauty. I mean, it's right on the Mediterranean, and it's over by Israel, so it's the far sort of east coast of the Mediterranean. It's spectacularly beautiful. I was blown away, and it's of course obviously rebuilt. I mean, it used to be a war zone.
Well, that's my question. Is it still kind of a war zone there?
I mean, Beirut has had a very difficult run here the last 12, 18 months. Of course, we know about that basically explosion that destroyed large segments of Beirut, and you could feel that from miles away. That was devastating. But then the economy, and there's been demonstrations. There's been a lot of frustration with the economy collapsing, and just a lot of difficulties, and the people are not happy about it. And so it's a real challenging place, but also the reason that we do ministry in Lebanon is that the Syrian refugees by the tens and tens of thousands have poured over the border from the Syrian fighting that's been going on. And so they populate much of the northern part of Lebanon. And so we have got a pretty extensive ministry with partners there with the Syrian refugees.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's great work you're doing there. You didn't want to talk about Lebanon today, though. That's a place we're going to go. You want to talk a little bit about India today. What's going on in India? Is that a big place for World Mission?
Yes, absolutely. It is ground zero as far as we're concerned when we talk about this issue of unreached people groups. So let's not forget that among the 195 countries that are in the world, there's 17,000 plus nations or people groups. And India has a sizable amount of people groups inside it. I mean, we're talking about in the thousands of people groups, individual people groups, and many of them have never heard the gospel. So there's more unreached people groups in India than any country in the world. And so for that reason, World Mission sets more treasures into India than any country in the world. So it's something that we constantly keep our eyes on. We're very in tune with what's going on. It's the most populated Hindu country in the world, and soon to be simultaneously the most populated Muslim country in the world. So there's just a lot of dynamics that are going on there. Right now, it's the prime minister is a very aggressive Hindu individual, and he's clamping down on faith-based nonprofit organizations, doing ministry very difficult.
What does that really mean? I mean, some guy doesn't like faith-based groups. What can one guy do?
They can enact things like anti-conversion laws, which they've done. And so how they're implementing that is everything. So you could go state by state and find maybe a range of implementation. But in many instances, family members are encouraged to sort of report. If my brother comes to know Christ, I would be encouraged to report to the authorities that my brother became a Christian, and there'd be consequences for the family. So There's a lot of harsh things. Pastors are being thrown in prison for preaching the gospel. There's a lot of leaders that are being cut off from, influencing, but whether it's their church or, whatever their ministry opportunities is. And it's all resulting from the leadership of this predominantly Hindu government and their enforcement against Christians in particular.
Now, and you think Hindu is being a real peaceful religion, like Buddhism, places, religions like that, but they may be peaceful, but not if you don't agree with them.
No, that's exactly right. There's tremendously harsh consequences. What we find, Rusty, is that when people come to know Christ, it's kind of a ripple, so to speak. They hear about it and they're like, oh, okay. When people get water baptized, and we hear this over and over again, when Hindu priests and the leaders see someone get water baptized, they know, man, this person's really serious. And that many times sort of initiates persecution against the family. And it's not just the individual. Many times it's the extended family. You've embarrassed us. You've sort of blasphemed against the Hindu culture. Right now, there is a huge impetus upon raising money for a Hindu temple. They call it the Ram Temple, RAM. And so they're literally going door to door and raising money from everybody to participate and send monies in. So
is this picture in the parade? Is that what this is?
Yeah. Okay. These are the people that are sort of celebrating different Hindu festivals. There are, hundreds of thousands of gods in the Hindu culture. And so when you're, it's really fascinating when you're driving around India and you see all the different statues, of elephants and of different animals and of individuals. All of them are gods in all these different ways, hundreds of thousands of gods that they worship. So when you're talking to a Hindu about Jesus, many times they're very, accepting of it. And they're like, yeah, Jesus is good. We're fine with that.
He's
and
just another one of thousands, right?
He's just one more God. So they're good with that. And then you try to explain to them, the Bible says that I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. In other words, there's only one way. The Christian faith, we don't have many ways to God. There's one way, and that's through Christ. And so that's where kind of the difference comes into play. But we're seeing, Rusty, despite the persecution, despite the animosity and hostilities towards the gospel, we are seeing unprecedented numbers of Indians, precious Indian people, Muslim and Hindu, coming to know Christ today. It's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome. We've got a couple of pictures here. One, we're kind of in front of a shack or something. What's going on here?
Yeah. So what we've got here is we've got the typical village life, and so you would come across this. Now behind this hut here is going to be some cows. So almost every village, the homes have cows around them. That's how they make their living. They depend on that cow. That cow is going to help them plow their fields. That cow is going to provide milk. And so in many instances, the cow is just huge. Now, you can't necessarily see it on this photo here, but on a lot of these huts like this, you'll see these circular, look like pancakes that are up against the wall. And that is cow patties, my friend. Those are not pancakes. Those are not pancakes.
Why are they there on the wall? For art?
So what they do is they will. The first time I saw this, I had to did I just really see that? Right. So I watched the cow do its thing, go to the bathroom, and just kind of right in the middle of the street, and a lady comes rushing out. She's probably 100 feet away, comes rushing out. And I'm wondering, what is she going to do here? And she, with her bare hands, reaches down, picks up the warm doo-doo, and runs back to her house like she just has a prize or something. And so what they do is they take the cow,
doo-doo.
Poop,
yeah,
and they flatten it and they put it up to dry, and that becomes fuel for their fires. And so it's just a very, it's a very filthy, especially the villages. Yeah. The sanitation is just really disturbing. That's why World Mission does a lot of water projects in these areas, because they don't have access to clean water. And so that's a lot of the entry point is just, it's funny how humanity, Rusty, when there's a need, a physical need, what a beautiful expression of love. Here's a cup of cold water. Here's a Band-Aid. Here's some antibiotic.
Here's a cow pie.
Here's a cow pie, yeah,
No.
yeah, kind of not quite in that vein, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Now you've got a lineup here. It looks like you got a line of kids, and I can obviously see the World Mission sign. They're obviously lined up for what you're just talking about, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. COVID has been devastating in Southeast Asia, and countries like India have been decimated. Their economy. I mean, when you shut down everything, let's not forget that there's no refrigeration for the majority of the Indian population. So, I mean, what you're going to eat that day is what you get from the fields or what chicken you kill or whatever. And if you are sort of in lockdown mode, you're not eating that day. And so starvation has been, we've talked about this on previous programs on the World Mission Update, but this is a feeding line, and it's that need is ongoing. Although things are loosening up, what happens when something like COVID is so devastating to the entire country, as things begin to loosen up, it's the more well-to-do or the high caste people in India that are the first benefactors of things, getting easier. And the poorest of the poor, which is where so much of our ministry is done, are the ones that are, still surviving on table scraps and leftovers. So feeding programs is still ongoing for us. It's a great way to share the gospel.
Well, you've got a woman here in a river, and I see a guy with a fishing pole behind her.
Yep. So, this is a pretty discouraging picture, in that along the riverbeds, as many times they believe in reincarnation, and so they're burning the bodies. That's part of the funeral process. And a lot of times after they sort of burn the bodies, that you'll find poor people that'll be going through and scrummaging through the ashes, trying to find fillings for teeth, or trying to find leftover belongings or whatever.
Oh my goodness, I thought she was fishing or something.
Well, the guy behind her, the sad part, going back to the sanitation thing, is you've got all of this trash and everything else that's going into these rivers, which are huge from a spiritual standpoint. That's a big thing. These the Ganges River is one in particular, where a lot of these activities will happen, where the worship, the Hindu priests and their worship process, and how they do funerals, and how they cremate the bodies, is all being done right around the river. Meanwhile, there's guys fishing just like that are pulling out fish that then the people eat. And so you've got the sanitation issue is really huge challenge for much of rural India.
Oh my goodness. And it looks like you are reaching people. We've got a picture of some young men, and it looks like the treasure's in their hands.
Yeah. For us, it's all about empowering the national leaders. And so, you get these individuals that are so hungry for the gospel. Rusty, when they come in contact with the gospel, we hear over and over the power of the word of God, testimonies like, it brought peace into my heart. You say, what brought peace into the heart? Listening to the word of God in Hindi, in Telugu, in Tamil, in Bengali, in Malayalam, and all the various languages. And we have hundreds of languages that we'll load, Rusty. We'll distribute more than 100 different languages in India throughout the year, because of the diversity of these hundreds and hundreds of people groups that are there. But it's really, the key is the national leaders. So we target the national leaders, we raise them up, and then they're the ones who are doing the ministry and multiplying the gospel.
It is amazing the work that World Mission is doing around the world, and you can see where the need is, and that's just one small portion of the globe, and World Mission is literally a group that goes all around the world, which is why we ask for you not only to subscribe to the show and share it and let people know about it, but also go to worldmission.cc. It's not worldmission.cc, not .com. worldmission.cc, and go to the donate page and donate whatever God is asking you to give, whatever you're feeling. Please do that. Greg, you guys take this money and you do the best you can with it.
We absolutely do, Rusty. I mean, we're talking about some of these pictures that we've seen. We're talking about the poorest of the poor, people that they are called rag pickers, who are living literally in landfills, leper colonies, the blind, the orphans and widows. Those are the kind of people that Jesus died for, that Jesus cares about deeply, and disproportionately represented, unfortunately, in places like India. And so, you may never go to India, but you're going to India as you're praying for World Mission, as you're helping us send treasures, as you're helping provide a bowl of rice for a young person, a water project. So Rusty and I, we don't do this because we're just trying to blow time and we don't have anything else to do. Yeah. We do it as a you because we want to educate you and inform you about what is going on in the world. Because if you're a follower of Jesus, his last words apply to you. This is an outlet to help you express the last words of Jesus.
Absolutely. So please go to worldmission.cc. Check out all the things that World Mission's doing. Go back and listen to or watch some of the programs where you can see us in places like Kenya and in Bangladesh, and see some of the work Greg's team is doing and what it's like. And I'm telling you what it's like from a layperson, and telling you the truth of what's really going on. And some of these things Greg won't tell you, but they're horrible. I mean, horrible. And Greg, we just want to help. No, they're horrible. And being a missionary, it sucks. I don't know how they do it. But fortunately, you're able to watch it at home from TV and learn and educate yourself and then help. And that's what we're asking for. Go to worldmission.cc to help. We sure appreciate you. Thank you so much again. Please subscribe and share this with your friends. And until next time, may God bless you and your family. For Greg Kelley, I'm Rusty Humphries, and this is the World Mission